We could talk about the new Splatoon update that's going to come out for October. They're going to have a Halloween update.
Or we could talk about Moira.
Moira in her...
And her banshee.
Is she going to, like, scream when she does her, like...
Well, they didn't release any voice lines, so probably.
When
like, everything's just going to be screaming.
Well, that's the thing, is I saw her and I thought she was going to be like a Dergdu, like an Irish vampire thing. Irish, Scottish. I always get them confused. I'm both of them.
Yeah.
But then again, that is the least interesting thing about people. I always love it when they're just like, yeah, I have this heritage. And it's like, shut up, you're white.
Hey, guess what?
What?
You're white.
You're white, dude. I remember in high school I had a friend from Somalia who was just like, so, you know, where are you from and everything? And I'm like, America? And he's like, no, where are your ancestors from? And I'm like, so, like, dude, I am a gangbang. What are you asking? He's like, where are you from, though? I'm like, okay, I guess I'm like, you know, like, mostly French. Cause like...
Are you?
Yeah, I am actually.
Really?
Yeah, cause like the people, because of the Patrick thing. But the Scottish and Irish are like 20%, 25% each, and then the French is mostly like 40%.
Okay.
I know this shit, but it's boring. But
I never knew that though. Like, that's interesting.
No, it's not. It's the most boring part of a person.
It's fun though. It's like talking about your like zodiac sign.
Yeah, and like a cringy, yeah. So that like
they're both pretty cringy though.
But when you go to a party, it's like, okay, what do you do? It's like, well, I'm in childcare. I like am interested in horror stuff. I do blah blah blah. That's like telling you who I am.
Right.
Like.
Yeah, but we want to know who your ancestors banged.
Yeah, that's what's important. It's like, who'd your grandpa bang, though? Right. Who was your grandpa and who did he bang?
Right.
That's what I'm hearing. It's like, where's your ancestry from?
Right. Speaking of, what's your zodiac sign?
I don't know.
Capricorn.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
No, but they have...
Girl, what's your sign? Okay, anyway.
But this Splatoon update is going to have... you know, everything in the Splatoon world change colors to be Halloween colors, and they're going to be, you know, purple. They're going to be orange, and they're going to be black, and they have a bunch of purple and green there too, like the neon green. And this brings up an important question: is Halloween allowed to have 4 colors as its holiday colors, or is it just allowed to have the 2?
That depends on how many people your grandpa banged.
I am not a fan of it. I just want there to be 2 colors. It's got to be the orange and it's got to be the black.
I don't know. I like having more colors associated with Halloween because eventually we'll get the whole rainbow in there and then Halloween will become all year round. Right?
I thought you were going to say Halloween would become gay.
Halloween's already gay.
It's pretty gay.
It's pretty gay.
Well,
I mean,
it is a chance. Well, like on one hand, it's a chance for flamboyant gay guys to be flamboyant and gay, and on the other hand,
it's a chance for boyfriends to dress up like their girlfriends.
It's a chance for women to dress like sluts.
Yeah.
Just what do you? I'm a thought cat.
I'm a thought cat. I'm a thought skeleton.
That's
Skelethought.
Yeah. That's the thing, though, is if you're going to dress up as a skeleton, and what if you're thick? If you're a fat lady...
Bony skeleton.
Bony skeleton.
Got big bones.
Yeah, apparently. Shit, we're reading...
I guess you could go as my ancestors. As a whale.
A whale?
Yeah.
Go to Wales to investigate the holy whales. I love that YouTube poop.
That's pretty good.
We're going to be reading The Fata of Everything. I don't know if that's a typo or not. I think I think it's intentional.
Fata.
F-A-T-A.
Fata.
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 Fatwa.
Fagua.
Frog. So the Fata of Everything, and it's by Davi Does. It's posted to the Too Spooky. It's posted to spooky.com. TOO spooky.com, and we're going to be reading this. Trying to read more stories recently from here since it's our community and we want to give feedback, grow the community.
Grow the peoples.
Grow the peoples, hide the peoples, eat the peoples. And, hopefully if people see that their stories are getting critiqued, it'll make people more likely to submit. Or maybe it'll make people less likely. Maybe we just tear apart the stories and everyone hates us and then they leave. And
then they never talk to us again. And then we die alone with each other.
That wouldn't be so bad. I enjoy my internet friends, but I can't have sex with them.
That's very true.
That's very true. Do you want to start us off?
I used to be able to make the Fata go away.
So I'm guessing the Fata... I'm drinking tea, fuck you. I'm guessing the Fata is a ghost or a spirit or maybe a tulpa, something along
Or maybe
those
it's
lines.
a type of cheese.
Ugh, God.
I love cheese.
God, this fucking Feta is the grossest smelling thing.
It's great on salads.
It's great on salads.
It's got really good salads.
Oh, no, you're fine.
No, it's freaking out.
Okay, if nobody here knows what that means, good, that's normal. I just wanted to get your attention. I got a story to share and a favor to ask.
I remember everything about the first day I was followed. Even the little stuff, like how the wind kept tickling the back of my neck.
All the little stuff. And make the Feta go away. Oh, boy. No, it's pretty funny. This is my completely original OC song.
Just came up with it right now.
Who's that song by?
It's a great question.
Is it Sum 41?
I don't know.
It Blink 182? Or is it both of them? Anyway.
Like, for some reason, The Middle is coming up to mind. But
The Middle? It's one of the bands with the numbers. I know it's one of the bands with the numbers.
It might be Sum 41. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Let's ignore all the little stuff.
But we could Google it.
I don't use Google, I use Bing. You want to read it?
No, I don't. Even the little stuff, like how the wind kept tickling the back of my neck. After rubbing at my neck repeatedly, I raked my nails across it. The pain drowned out the itch.
So is it romantic? It's like, stop tickling my neck. I don't know. God damn it! What?
I'm just imagining like the professor dude saying that.
What? Oh, it's tickling my little neck.
Kitty cat, yeah.
Kitty cat. That wasn't smart, but I had other things on my mind.
It was the third time that week. My mom had forgotten to pick me up from middle school and didn't answer when I called. Luckily, our neighbor was within walking distance of the middle school, and it was a familiar walk.
Luckily, our neighborhood was okay.
Yeah.
That's why it was a shock to be met with a chorus of howls and barks, the neighbor's dogs, who'd long ignored me as I passed, suddenly couldn't tolerate my presence. Chain link fence thankfully held them back.
I wanted to just run home right away, but I felt like all my neighbors could be staring at me. A strange self-consciousness gripped me, but didn't stop me from walking quickly.
Strange self-conscious, all that I see, absolute gripping me.
Oh my god. The street was long and my house was near the end, so I had a ways to go.
Okay. So, I don't know how to feel about the whole, like, yeah, it's the Feta, though. It's just the Feta, and it's like,
it's the Feta cheese he got served out in the cafeteria, which may or may not be feta cheese.
Which I guess makes the dogs bark because they want to lick the feta boy.
Feta boys.
We don't know if this is a boy or not, but so far it's pretty bog standard. Honestly, it's very paint by numbers so far. Of like, yeah, there's the spirit that you don't know about, and it makes dogs bark. You know,
Ruff.
Ruff ruff.
Oh. Oh.
Is it at I'd?
I'd Saint Bernardi.
Okay. I'd almost made it when a large Saint Bernard came barreling out of the open garage to my left.
Shit, it's Cujo.
Yeah, I'm more afraid of the dog than I am the feta. I'd known Cavil.
Sure.
Cavil all her life. She was the sweetest dog I knew, and her family rightly trusted her off the leash. Knowing this didn't make me any less terrified of her teeth as she growled at me louder than I had ever heard her bark.
Instead of charging, she stood her ground a few feet away, ceaselessly growling. Wary of provoking her further, I backed away steadily. Every step I took, she took one as well.
You said that like a really racist Asian stereotype.
What?
Wary of provoking any
what?
further.
I did? And Cavil viciously escorted me out of her territory.
It's a cool name for a dog.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about, like, the dogs are more in tune with ghosts than humans are.
It wasn't said that this was a ghost. It's just, so far we know about it is, it's an itch that causes pain. It could be syphilis on the back of your neck.
Yeah.
Or herpes, or whichever
I got the
one.
feta. It's like, the herpes has gone to their brain and drove them crazy.
Isn't that rabies?
Rabies? Okay.
Could be all of these things.
Herpes is like a ghost.
You don't survive either.
I have ghost herpes. Instead of charging, she started... Okay. Once I was past the property line, visible in the difference between lawns, she stopped following me. From this distance, I could finally see it. She wasn't growling at me.
On the section of sidewalk cast in my shadow, there was a small, circular blur. It didn't go away when I blinked. When I took a few more steps back, it disappeared as sunlight reclaimed that square of sidewalk. I watched as the blur moved back into my shadow. I finally screamed and sprinted home.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Peter Pan's shadow.
I'm trying to understand what it is that's being described. What do you think is being described here? Because I'm a little confused.
Sounds like a small circular blur that doesn't go away when you blink.
Is it okay? But like, is that, and it's moving around
inside of your shadow. Inside of his
but
shadow?
It was out.
Her
But
shadow?
yeah, but it was outside of their shadow and then went back in.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds vaguely like cataracts. Are feta cataracts?
I guess so. I mean, if you get feta cheese in your eye, does it become a cataract?
Can feta cheese be a cataract catalyst? Is what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. To be honest, I'm a little confused here. I think that maybe this is the important part right here, so I think that maybe this needs to be developed on. I can very clearly picture the scene, especially the whole bit about the difference in the lawns, where you have one lawn that's mowed and one lawn that's been mowed at a different time.
Right.
Or not mowed or something like that. So I can picture that pretty vividly, but the other parts are a little confusing to me. So I finally screamed, sprint up. It kept following me everywhere. Mom couldn't see it when she woke me up to make dinner.
When she woke up.
When she woke up to make dinner. I didn't tell her because I didn't know what to call it, and she yelled at me whenever I took too long to think of a word. No one at school could see it either. Animals didn't like me anymore, though, and that somehow upset me most of all.
And if I got, like, a shadow herpes and dogs started hating me, I would probably just fall into a corner and cry.
Yeah, I do wonder. We're getting the whole thing of, like, they couldn't be taken to school and mom was asleep, until later. So maybe neglectful parents is a part of this.
I mean, mom's yelling when he takes too long to think over words. So.
Yeah, it sounds a little abusive.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a little abusive. It could be a lot abusive. We don't know the extent to it. And we also don't know the age of our narrator.
Except
either.
Middle school, so...
middle
6th,
school.
7th,
Middle school.
or 8th
Okay,
grade.
yeah. Okay, so that does tell us...
So like 12, 13, or 14?
Yeah. That does tell us, significant more information. So, I think maybe... Is that background information going to bear fruit, do you think?
I don't know. Personally, like, we're halfway... Well, almost halfway. I kind of hope that this kind of ends with, like, a dog attacking him and dog needing to be put down, but I don't know where it's going. That's just kind of...
Yeah.
Because that would be really, really fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Animals didn't like me anymore, and somehow that upset me most of all.
Yep. For weeks, I couldn't think of anything but how to get rid of it. Just knowing it was always there scared me.
Oh, you never get rid of the ghost herpes.
Oh, once you get ghost herpes, it sticks with you for life.
And death, for that matter. Ghost herpes is forever, ever.
It's not just forever, it's forever, ever. Finally, one Saturday, I was curled up on my bedroom floor when inspiration struck. Suddenly sure of what to do, I eagerly gathered everything I needed.
I carried it all to our rarely used basement. A blanket, a wooden stirring spoon, and the largest pot in the house. Oh, are we gonna have a puke party? I set the pot face down and covered myself with the blanket, letting it drape over my head and shoulders like a cloak. Taking a deep breath and closing my eyes, I struck out rhythmically with the spoon. It wasn't a song, but a perfect alignment between myself and everything else. What?
I think I can kind of see, like, trapping it in the pot. Maybe. Maybe that's where this is going. Although I don't know why you would suddenly, like, have that inspiration struck, like, hit randomly.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of, like, weird. It's like, yeah, this thing... We're told that this thing has been bothering our narrator.
But thus far, all it's done is make his neck slightly itchy and make dogs hate him. Which, if he's a cat person... Cats would also hate him, I guess.
But we're told those two things, but I don't think we have enough information. It's like, yeah, it kept happening, and, it was still there. Right. And it's like, but he's not describing, like, yeah, I'd go to sleep, and it was there. I'd wake up, and it was there. Take a shower, it was there. Take a shit, it was there.
Right.
It's, we've effectively seen really just, like, one scene with...
We've been told, but we haven't been shown.
Yes, yeah.
That's the best way I can think to describe it. I just suddenly knew what to do. Nothing had felt more right in my life until that moment, and nothing has felt as certain since.
All right. When I opened my eyes again, I was dizzy enough to collapse with a painful smack to the cement floor. But I was no longer being followed. It doesn't follow, I guess.
All right. Unfortunately, the Fata didn't stay away. It was never more than one at a time, but they always came back. They were still returning routinely throughout the rest of middle school and most of high school.
Each time, I got rid of them myself. The specifics of what I needed to grab would change, and the rhythm never really sounded the same, but I had the power. This does sound like some sort of escapism, maybe, from potential abuse from mom.
Right. Or maybe just a weird way to channel, like, anxiety.
Yeah, something along those lines. This sounds like this person is having some sort of weird coping mechanism.
Right.
It seems like they like animals more than people, which, is a sign of antisocial behavior.
Right.
So, maybe that's what the story is getting at?
Maybe. I guess we'll see. And it was exhausting. By this year, my senior year, I felt like I couldn't take it anymore. I needed to get help. So he's now a senior in high school.
No, I think a senior in middle school.
You wouldn't call yourself a senior in middle school, though.
No, I knew people that did that.
I didn't.
I don't think that's that weird.
That sounds really strange to me.
That would be weird though, because
like you only have 3 years, so which one gets taken out? Freshman, sophomore, junior?
I would say sophomore.
You'd say sophomore?
Yeah.
No sophomore slump for
no sophomore slump for middle schoolers. So that would be 7 fucking years though
of constantly doing this weird.
Well, I guess at least 5. Anyway, there was a girl in my grade. Don't know what song I am doing, but it sounds like something written by some 41 or Blink 82.
That was really well improvised.
Yeah, it was.
Well done.
It was.
Golf clap.
Yeah. There was a girl in my grade that I suspected might know something. We had a few classes together, and whenever I was around her, I felt a strange sensation in my boner.
Mm.
I dismiss it as a crush, but I was desperate to reconsider anything that might be a clue.
Mm.
He's got a raging clue.
That's one way to get a clue. I approached her in the library after lunch. She was reading in the corner, but gave me her attention right away. Once I sat down, I took an embarrassing amount of time to explain what I wanted to know.
Hey, Manic Pixie Dream Girl, do you also see the blur? And she's just like, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
She's just like, please don't make me get a restraining order. Anyway, she finally interrupted me, gave me 2 sets of names and addresses of people who could help, and told me not to talk to her about this again. We don't even get her name?
Yeah, I'm taking issue with that.
Like we need her name, her hair color, like why is there a crush? Why is there the possibility of confusing this
She has
sensation
the
with a
purty
crush?
face.
She's got the purty face and the purty mouth.
Yeah. She lives in a society like me. The first address belonged to a guy called Owen. Oh wow. It was a decently long bike ride away.
Wait, but okay.
On the outskirts of the nearest town of mine. As soon as I was off my bike, Owen was right there shaking my hand and leading me into a barn to meet his other clients. They all looked like freaks in their own way, but I wasn't in a place to judge, though they do live in a society.
What?
It's like the Joker memes.
Oh.
Like, you know, you're an outcast and everything, and
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so this story is just really having problems.
It's kind of just it's got ups and downs.
Yeah, it's having problems.
I feel like it should have been
establishing-
really, like, you know how when somebody does a painting and they do it way too far out, and it's like, you gotta really clip that in?
Yeah.
I feel like they should just really have clipped this into, like, the first part with the dogs.
Or if they want to branch out, they gotta give us more detail, like...
Right.
Okay, so there's this girl, and, you know, you start explaining what's going on, and then she's just, like, very tersely saying, you know, go to this address. Like, that's a little tropey, like, go to this address.
And then also, it's not really, like, we're not being shown it. We're just being told, hey, I approached this girl, and she told me this. It's not giving us the actual dialogue, not setting up the scene at all.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess you guessed right that she was having this issue as well, and now we're going to Owen, and Owen has clients in a barn. Like, this is... Yeah, this is weird.
Yeah.
I think this needs to either slow down or speed up. You know?
Right.
We need either more detail or it needs to be more brief. And I think it wants to be longer, you know?
Right.
Because it's telling it's leading us on this weird goose chase of like, okay, there was the dogs, that didn't like me. Then I saw the blur,
Mm.
and then I talked to the pretty girl who gave me the strange boner, the ghost boner herpes.
The ghost boner to go with my ghost herpes.
And then we have Owen's client barn.
Come down to Owen's client barn.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Alright.
Mm.
Is it my turn?
I don't remember at this point.
Yeah, no, it's your turn.
Okay. I asked if Owen could make it so I was never followed again. He said he'd had clients that never had to come back and that others had been coming for years. There was no guarantee. I biked home disappointed.
The second address turned out to be a regular house like mine. It was only a little harder to bike there in the opposite direction of the first. My mom wouldn't have liked me biking this far, but I wasn't open to considering alternatives.
Mel and Megan, the couple who lived there, looked concerned as I struggled to catch my breath. They brought me inside, brought me water and snacks, and we sat on opposite couches. I explained everything.
Okay.
So, wait, do they have like one couch on one side of their living room and another couch on the other side?
I think that's what they're saying, yes.
But where's the TV?
They're Mormon.
Oh,
They
no.
don't have TV.
They have 4 couches instead.
Yes. Okay, so this is just like missed opportunities. Like, they brought me water and snacks. What snacks?
What did the glass look like?
We know...
How was the couch?
Yeah, like, I know...
Is it pleather?
We have Mel and Megan, a couple, and then we have Owen in his client barn, but we don't know the lady who... the girl in the... at the high school.
Right.
Or middle school.
Yeah.
Context, you know?
Yeah.
I explained everything. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. It was these two who told me the blurs were called Fata. Fata? I called them all kinds of things in my head, but I had never known their name. What did you call them in your head?
Miata. They were all called Miata Mike.
Fiata Fike. It made me feel like I was already making progress.
After asking every question I didn't really care about, I asked if they could make the Fata go away forever. They said yes. I'd just have to meet with them weekly for several months, and every time we met it would get harder, but it would be worth it. Mel and Megan promised that at the end the Fata would never return. I believed them. Okay. So, when he says every question I didn't really care about, like, what kind of question? Are you asking them about their birthdays? Their middle names?
Yeah, I don't...
The gas mileage on their cars?
Yeah, I think that this story would be better told if I was just here with the author and, like, asking them questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just tell me the stuff.
Yeah.
And then we also have the bit about over several months, you know, they keep meeting, and it'll get harder, but they promise results.
But faster, stronger.
Yeah, so, like, that's a good story to have of a good conflict of, like, no, this is going to get harder, but it'll take care of the issue.
Yep.
You alright there?
Yeah, I just got water all over my face.
Yeah.
I have a drinking problem.
Wait, so I believe them.
Yeah.
The next part is difficult for me to think about. Our meeting never cost money, which was good, because I barely had any. Instead, they asked me to do errands. I guess they are in high school if they have, like, money. If they have money, they have a job, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe he's really lucky and keeps finding money on the street. We don't know. Maybe he gets an allowance. Maybe he steals money from his mom.
Yeah.
Maybe his neighbor gives him money for, like, raking her yard. I don't know.
Yeah, raking... Maybe they just, you know, rake up all the hay at Owen's client barn.
Right.
After each one, we do a session together, and no Fata followed me the whole time. What do you mean session? Like...
What's a session? Like, what do the sessions consist of?
This is where the story happens. You know, this is just the skeleton of, like, I went from point A to point B, but the fun stuff is, like, how you what flavor are you putting in?
Right.
You know? What is in the sessions? I want to know what's in the sessions.
Right. The errands started out as normal stuff, like picking up a package or sweeping their sidewalk. It only gradually got sketchy. When they asked me to steal from their neighbors' yards, I obviously hesitated, but I did it. I even tripped a few strangers and broke some windows. When they asked me to hurt a kid, I never went back.
Okay, so I feel like the money shot of the story is all in that paragraph of, like, doing bad things to get rid of this anxiety.
Right.
And that's what it feels like it's talking about, like some sort of weird anxiety that this person is having, that the Fata is like some sort of metaphor for that, or literally that, I'm not sure.
Right.
Within, that paragraph should be like 5-10 paragraphs.
Right, you should be, like, explaining how things, like, slowly...
Yeah, escalated.
Like, the uneasiness, like, maybe, like, some, like, I don't know, maybe, like, heaviness in the chest or, like, in the stomach when you're doing something weird.
Yeah. And questioning whether it's better to, have the Fata around or to hurt somebody.
Right.
And then they get to the point where it's like, they asked me to hurt a kid and I never went back. And so,
okay, what did they ask you to do to this kid? Like...
They asked me to critique his Minecraft server. Within the week, the Fata was following me again. I went through the usual routine, and it didn't work. I couldn't connect with the universe like before. After sitting in the dark for hours each day, trying to hit the pan correctly, I knew I had to risk asking for help again.
Owen said he couldn't help me anymore. Something had changed too much inside of me for his methods to work. He looked like he was going to cry as he closed the door. I did cry, especially after the girl at school refused to even talk to me. I thought I was alone before, but it turned out things could get worse.
Okay.
Alright.
This is dealing with some sort of anxiety. It's
right.
gotta be. And it only kept getting worse. The Fata no longer waited their turn. More and more are appearing each day. Anytime I'm in darkness, even a shadow, absolute horror, I feel like I'm suffocating.
If you've read this far, I hope I can trust you. I don't know if this will work, but there's a glimmer of something still inside of me that knows it will.
Grab what feels right. Something to cover yourself. Something to strike, and something to strike with.
Head to the darkest room in your house and wrap what you grabbed around you.
Close your eyes and play the rhythm that comes to you until you feel complete.
Please help me make the Fata go away.
Yeah.
Alright.
This definitely feels like a story about anxiety. What do you feel about this story?
I feel like it's trying for something and it, like, didn't hit it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has potential, but I feel like it needs to be, like, triple the length.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little...
It needs to be, like, more of a novel.
Yeah, and as it is right now, I think we've said
it's interesting. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, I would need... I'm also curious as to, like, this person just lives in a world, next to Owen's client barn and...
Or within a bike ride of.
Yeah, Mel and Megan's bed and breakfast. And we just get this idea that these people are also dealing with this, but I've never seen this and no one else talks about this.
Right.
So it's just this weird thing happening in, like,
and then also
a town
he's in
and its
middle
outskirts.
School. Like, where are his friends?
Doesn't have any. I think they're kind of like a social outcast.
Even
that's what I'm guessing.
Outcasts have other social outcasts.
You're right, though. It's like, yeah, that's a frustrating thing. So this story, really lacking context. And I know we've been kind of harsh on it, but that's just what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I noticed that there's a comment on it.
Yeah, you want to read it?
Sure. I thought This comment is by Urkelbot.
Urkelbot.
What was it that Urkel always says? Did I do that?
Did I do that?
Urkelbot666 says, I thought that this one had some good elements to it, and I liked the voice of the narrator. I understand the purpose of word limits on contest stories, but it's a shame that they can sometimes be a detriment to the pieces that get submitted. I feel like that may have happened here.
I don't know what contest this was submitted for.
I don't know either.
I think it was just under the critique area of Too Spooky.
Maybe it was originally part of something else?
Maybe. There's some good mythos set up, but I felt myself wanting more. I wanted to know more about the Fata and what exactly they do or cause in less broad terms. Yeah, so this person is pretty much saying the same, deal of like, there's too much vagueness in this story.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting that they mentioned that it's part of a contest, though.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of explains maybe part of the issue with it.
Yeah, I don't know what the challenge was, necessarily. But, it is always nice to get out of your comfort zone and try and write something that you're not used to.
Right.
But anyway.
Anywho.
Do you have anything you want to say?
Feta cheese is really good with pepperoni.
Okay, agree to disagree.